All right. Hello, everyone. This is Julie Brown, and we are in week 8, finals week, the last PowerPoint and discussion board. And I hope everybody enjoyed this class as well as I did and learned new things. That's what I'm going to be talking about here over the next few minutes. I just pulled bits and pieces of basically the last 8 weeks and what stuck out to me and my PowerPoints and stuff like that. So getting started, something for me was the Riverside County Board of Supervisors and basically who they were, what they did, um, also learning about the mayor and who ran what. And I feel that these are very important people in our cities and what they're in charge of and the power that they have, as well as working well with other agencies. And I know for me being in law enforcement, they do have a lot of pull, and you kind of have to work hand in hand with these guys in order for budgeting and stuff like that. So this is something that was interesting and that I learned uh, throughout the past 8 weeks. So uh, moving on to where all the money goes and all the different departments that money goes to. I was very shocked about how much and what it does cost to keep everything running, and just being educated on uh, and a little more wise about budgeting and city management, and what how much it actually does cost to keep things running in a city. And then moving on to a couple different people whose theories that I really liked and that I felt that I would use if I was ever in a leadership position. Right now, I teach classes for our training facility, so I feel that I can actually take these theories and use them, in a classroom settings and make me a better leader and get my message across better if I feel that I'm lacking confidence in some places. And the people that I do teach, they're a rough crowd sometimes, so maybe taking some of these theories and putting them in effect, it will help me in the future. One of the theories that stuck out to me was Luther Golik's, the POSDC ORB, and the functions of a manager. And this stands for planning, organizing, staffing, directing, coordinating, reporting, and budgeting. I feel for this theory, it's not just going to be one person that is doing all of these things, and that you're going to have a couple people who are in charge of this to make this theory work. I think it's a great theory, and I think that if everybody is on board and knows what they are supposed to do, that this can be a very strong theory and it can keep an organization running very easy and efficient, and it can also be very successful in the end. And then one of my favorite ones is Mary Parker Follett, and I feel that her theory is, I mean, for me, this is probably one of my favorite ones. She had a few good concepts on her theory, and this was talking about direct contact, which it's the contact between the employees and the manager, or the employees and who's ever in charge. and it can help resolve a lot of issues that come up if you have that good employee manager relationship. Holding regular meetings, talking with your employees, just having that open door um, mentality that if anything does go wrong or whatever, that they can come and talk to you before it is created into a bigger problem. So also early stages is something she talked about. It needs to be um, if you're learning something new, it needs to be brought up right away so that they can learn it and they can master it right away. And, they're not stumbling along just trying to figure it out. They already have the knowledge on what to do and how to do it. Um, and also, employees should be equal. One shouldn't, you know, stand out more than the other. However, because of work ethic these days, I feel that's kind of a hard concept to, have across the board because you're always going to have, that overachiever and then that person that just does a bare minimum to get by. And I think as a leader, you need to figure out, what can you do to get that person up to the next level. And then is that a reciprocal relationship she talked about, and this is that everybody has to pull their own weight. Um, if you know what you're doing, you know your assignment, then you should do your best to get that done so that somebody else doesn't have to pick up your slack, and you can work together as a team and be the most efficient that you can in that job. And then continuous progress is you know um, it's what you know and using it all the time so you don't forget it. And, if you do learn something new, always try and learn different ways to do it and, so that you don't forget it, like a refresher course. And if you do, then go to somebody that does and sit down and just go over it so that you don't forget it, so that, if your boss or manager, whoever needs you to do that assignment, that you already know how to do it and you don't have to ask questions and it's done in a timely and efficient manner. So, and then the e-government, I was kind of naive when it came to this. It stands for electronic government. And I put the definition down there, and I know I already talked about it, but for me, this was very interesting about how the government has contact with the citizens, customer, business, employee, government, how they get information out through the internet, phones. There's emails. There's so many different varieties of how the e-government works, and then I know that I got some feedback that you guys really like that e-government, e-governance table, so I put it back in this slide just as a refresher. If anybody needs it, I'll be more than happy to send it to you guys. But this is, I think, what unfortunately nowadays people are communicating with is electronics, and it's very smart for the government to branch off and communicate in this aspect because it gets the message across a lot sooner, and also with social media as well. So I know that we were supposed to do a selfie video and stuff like that, but I don't know, I just don't really feel comfortable doing one of those. So I put a picture of me and my husband in there. Um, So why are all these things important to me? I feel that these are something that I can take and apply to my life. I have been more educated on my city and how it runs and the budgeting. Also going over the different learning theories. Those two are the ones that I feel will benefit, my leadership and myself as far as, you know, passing it on to the people that I teach. And maybe if I do think that something isn't going good, I could always sit down with my boss or sergeant and, tell him what I've learned, and maybe, this theory would help out running, like a station or a unit and things like that. So, what would I share with my family? Well, my sister's a teacher, so I would love to share with her Follett's theory and see what she thinks because she is in a leadership position and teaches a lot and runs a lot of people are under her, so I feel that maybe that might help her out. So, the most surprisingly thing I've learned, believe it or not, it is making a PowerPoint and adding audio to it. It took me hours to figure it out and embed the video to our discussion board. But I was able to, and I hope that I was able to help a couple of you guys out too as well. And all the learning theories. I didn't realize how many, or theories on how to run a successful business and stuff like that. And I guess I never really realized how many theories were out there until I took this class. And, I feel that I could take bits and pieces from each one and apply the ones I like and the ones that I don't. Um, it's all a learning curve. So I really enjoyed this class and watching everybody's videos throughout the weeks. And I hope you guys all have a successful career and good luck in the rest of your education.